Well, guys, it's part 3 of my top 20 favorite movies of 2015. I really tried to avoid this happening, but I just couldn't escape it. So here it is, my top 5 favorite movies of 2015. Number 5 was Star Wars The Force Awakens. I originally had Force Awakens at number 6 and Vacation at number 5, but the reason why I switched them around was because Vacation, I had seen it in the theaters and I was laughing so hard. When I got it like on Blu-ray here, when I watched it again, I knew everything that happened. Excuse me. Like, I knew everything that happened. So, like, after I thought about that, I decided to switch 5 and 6 around. But Star Wars The Force Awakens, I really like that movie, and I actually saw it like, I saw it like 9 days ago to be exact. Like a week and a bit ago is when I saw it. And I actually really liked it. Like, I had seen 4, 5, and 6 before for like the first time, just before I saw the new one. I really liked Force Awakens. Of course, someone had to friggin' spoil it for me in the comments section of my friend's Facebook post. But even knowing that, Star Wars The Force Awakens was a great movie, and I don't know a single person who disliked it. Number 4 is The Hangover. One of my favorite comedy movies to this day. Probably my favorite. Like, of course I'd have to like look over all my favorites and like pick, but so far this is my favorite comedy to this day. Now, as I said before, I said one movie per franchise. I liked part 2 and 3. Of course, like 3 didn't have the same plot as the first two. I still like number 3 though, and part 2 would have been better than this one, but I didn't necessarily like the setting in Thailand. Because this one was like mainly like set in Vegas. That's why I loved it so much. Because it was like, well, not that wasn't the main reason, but like the second one was like set in Thailand, which I didn't really like that setting, but this one was like set in like Vegas, and that's why I chose this one out of the 3 for my number 4 pick. Now, this wasn't a 2015 movie either. It was 2009. But I loved this movie so much. Like, again, I don't think I know a single person that dislikes this movie. I love this movie. Like, if you haven't seen it, you are really missing out on a hilarious movie. So go check it out. Now we're getting into my top 3 favorite movies of 2015. Number 3. The Green Inferno. This movie had a lot of mixed opinions. It got like 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Voice crack there. Now, like, I saw The Green Inferno on Playbox. I absolutely friggin' loved this movie. Again, like, Eli Roth's films, as I said before, mainly rely on, like, gore and torture feels. Well, like, still, I just loved this movie. Even though it was mainly relied on gore, it was so good. Now, like, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. My absolute worst fear is waking up tied to a tree surrounded by cannibals. That is literally my worst fear. Like, with horror movies, if there's one weak spot I have, it's movies with cannibal themes in it. This movie didn't really... Well, it kind of scared me, but, like, I just loved this movie because I just really loved it. And it was so good. The effects were really well done. And it was pretty low budget, too. I think it was like $5 million or something like that. But I just loved this movie, but it was extremely controversial. Oh my god, I have to keep tilting this thing over. But it was, like, freaking... Like, seriously? It took 2 years for it to be released. It was going to be released in 2013, but of course controversy had happened. Then it was going to be released in 2014 by Open Road, but then they had all sorts of problems. Then in 2015, Blumhouse finally agreed to release it, which thank God for Blumhouse for releasing it. Like, I just loved The Green Inferno, and what was so cool was the actress that played Amy in this movie, in The Green Inferno. She liked 2 of my pictures on Instagram. Both of them were related to The Green Inferno. And she even commented on this one picture. I said, oh my god, she liked 2 of my pictures. And she said, I got you. So, like she is just awesome for actually taking the time to actually do that. So, like, that was, like, one of the highlighted points of my year for her to actually do that. Now, my number 2 pick. Ted 2. This is another one of my favorite comedies of all time. Of course, I like the first Ted. This one was even funnier. Like, this movie was like, I saw this with, now this is actually going to bring back some pretty good memories for me, because this is the first movie I ever saw in theaters without any parents. Like, it was just me and my friend Killerbot Films that saw this. We were the only, like, this, I don't know, like, guys, sometimes I have a habit of saying the wrong thing. It's just my mind just spouting random crap. But yeah, it was just me and him that saw this, and this is the first movie I ever saw in theaters without any parents. Now, like, this movie I thought was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing so much. I laughed even harder when I saw it again on DVD, like on disc, because, like, it had been 6 months since I had seen this movie. And so I watched it again, and I laughed even more, because unlike Vacation, I didn't remember anything. I remembered a couple parts, but, like, almost nothing I remembered. But yeah, so this movie, absolutely hilarious. It got a lot of, like, mixed opinions. Like, it got, like, 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. It does not deserve that at all. I absolutely loved this movie. It was great. It was so funny. Now, my number 1 pick. Straight Outta Compton. I cannot stress enough how much I love this movie. It was great. It was quite a bit of a long movie, though. It was 2 hours, 27 minutes. I loved it so much. Now, of course, I knew about NWA. That's the main reason I wanted to see it. I love their music, and, like, I just wanted to, like, learn more, like, about them. And it's like, I really wanted to see the movie, because, like, I love NWA, I love their music, so I really wanted to see the movie, and I loved the movie so much. Like, it was absolutely great, the acting was great, the direction was great, and it was a very good-looking movie, very accurate representation of, like, what the streets and, like, the hood were like. Very great performances, really funny parts of the couple that happened, and it was really inspirational as well. Like, and it was also quite sad. Like, but if you know about NWA, then you know this is coming. Of course, I'm not going to spoil it for those of you that don't know. But it was pretty sad in near the end, but I knew it was coming because I already knew because of, like, what happened in real life. But yeah, Straight Outta Compton was absolutely great. Like, again, I don't think I've met a single person that's disliked the movie. Like, it got, like, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was absolutely fantastic, and it's getting a 2 thumbs up in my book. I loved Straight Outta Compton, and, like, because the direction was great, the acting was great, the performances were great. I just loved the movie, period. The funny parts were funny. The sad parts really kind of do bring a tear to your eye. I actually almost cried right near the end credits. Like, in kind of, like, this one still shot with text on it, right near the end credits, I almost cried. Because it was just, like, it really warmed my heart what they did there. But, like, it is a little bit sad, and it was very inspirational. And that is why Straight Outta Compton gets my number 1 pick for my top 20 best movies of 2015. It's hard to believe that this is the last day of 2015. I'm actually going to miss it. Anyway, guys, drop it in the comments below what your favorite and least favorite movies were of 2015. So yeah, that's basically all for my videos. Guys, this is the last video I'm posting in 2015. I'm actually starting to miss 2015 already, even though it's not 2015 yet. I mean, even though it's not 2016 yet, oh man, like, I'm gonna miss 2015. Some of my greatest moments, like, okay, like, even though this is kind of, like, a weird thing for me to say, I just want to say, like, thank you to my friends, Killerbot Films and Slender Mender, for making this a great year for me. I love you guys to death, not in that gay way, but you guys really made my year, like, and even through like some of the tough times, you guys have always been there for me and like very understandable. So, like, thank you guys for really making my year. And I really hope that I made your year because some of my greatest moments this year was filming with you two. So, anyway, guys, that is all for this video. Subscribe for more content. And remember, you guys, whenever counting down your favorite movies, say no to drugs.